Hello and welcome to Computer Tech and More. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Razer Huntsman version 2 10 keyless keyboard. Optical, gaming, mechanical. You're going to need to install Razer Chroma RGB in order to control it. So if you already have a Razer mouse, then you're not installing any more software. But if you don't have a Razer mouse, you're going to be installing more bloatware software onto your computer just to control your LED lights. So take that however you like. Personally, I want to minimize the amount of extra software that I install on my computer. It features a 2-year warranty, linear optical switches, Gen 2, a little bit more verbiage, sound dampening foam, double shot PBT keycaps, that's nice, hybrid onboard memory, and cloud storage. So you can take your settings everywhere. This is actually a big thing for me, is that the keyboard remembering what settings you place on it. Open it up. In the top you have a little sleeve with instructions. Are there any stickers in here? Yep, some stickers if you want to plaster stickers all over all of your stuff. Give them to your toddler. Let's see. You can already see the keyboard. It is well preserved in this plastic wrap. Alright, and in the box you got everything wrapped up in nice plastic to protect it while it's being transported to your house. This is a $130 keyboard, so I put it as middle cost, where I consider high cost keyboards to be around $200 and that plus, and extraordinarily basically everything over $250. This is very poorly made. Like, I mean, I know it's going to be flat on your desk, so that twist doesn't matter. Cushion-wise, feels just fine, but this is a pleather top, so this will probably turn disgusting pretty quickly. I think I just have preferred just plastic, but then again, some people like soft, some people don't. So I guess lose-lose, win-win, however you want to look at it, or actually lose-lose depending on whatever you like. Over here we got the cable. Right, this cable is a USB-A and a USB-A. Oh, that's USB-C. So that's pretty nice. It modernizes this keyboard a bit. And on the keyboard it's USB-C. It's tucked in right there, which is pretty nice. It actually gives the cable a good amount of support so that it won't like torque and break very easily than if it just had a little plug out the back. But also might make it harder to get it in and out. That's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. But let's take a quick look at the bottom here. So it's got a standard 4 rubber mat pad layout. Nothing in the middle. So I think that this rubber pad actually looks a little bit lacking, considering if you ever wanted to lift the feet, where it has 2 levels, that these don't have any rubber on them. So you're going to be relying 100% on this or the little bit of extra rubber you get on the front. And, well, this isn't magnetic. So it's just going to be using pressure to hold it in place. So that's a little bit disappointing. That's considering, I guess, the $130 price. The bottom is plastic. It looks fine. No real complaints there. Let's see, on the back, we just got that one USB port. I would really like to see, especially at this price, because in the more niche market of like the drop, you get 2 USB-C ports for like peripherals and stuff, where it's just got a little hub built in, and several of them cost the same as this keyboard. It would just be, the name brands seem to not really be catching on to that much. The top feels like metal, so that's good. It's fairly quiet, but kind of rattly. I don't know. just somewhere in the middle there, it seems to rattle just a tiny bit. It's not terrible, but it is noticeable. But $130, so I guess I've kind of looked at a lot of more expensive ones, and maybe my ear's gotten a little bit on the picky side, but it's not terrible. I'll need to set it up on my desk and really play around with it. As for keycap stabilization, not great on the space bar. The shift over here, again, not great, but if you're, you know, reaching, you're not going to notice it that much, but, you know, it's definitely present. Got your print screen, scroll lock, insert. So it's got all the standard, kind of the standard keys. It's missing like the knobs or the special buttons, which personally I don't care about. I would rather have, I guess, keys than a knob, because in general I just control my volume based on like VLC, so the mouse wheel or something like that. So I don't really need dedicated buttons on it on the keyboard itself. As for other physical appearances, sorry, I think I knocked the camera, of the keyboard, I do prefer the keys to go right up to the edge, because you're losing about a ½ inch on your desk once you add up the two sides. The top and bottom I care a lot less about, but I'd like to see it pulled all the way to the sides. That's just a personal opinion, but has no bearing on how I think the keyboard actually functions itself. I don't know what else to say. Let's go ahead and plug it into a computer and see what's what. All right, here we are. Here is the Chroma software. Or it's not Chroma, it's Synapse software. From Razer to adjust the lighting on this keyboard. We'll take a look at the keyboard after. So it's got a bunch of different modes built in right here. So you can turn it on, always on, and it turns off the Windows key and stuff like that. Keyboard type, switch optimization for typing or gaming. And that is typing adds a debounce delay to prevent extra inputs from a single keystroke. Gaming mode, 0 debounce, making hyper responsive. And then it's got a polling rate, so it has a little descriptor in the corner. I'm going to read that to you real quick. That will come up. Adjust the frequency at which the device will respond to your keyboard. Higher frequency increases the overall responsiveness and reduces input delay, but consumes more energy and reduces battery life. If applicable, list of available frequencies. So, cool. 8,000. Higher polling rate requires more processing power, which may result in reduced frame rates. So, increasing it may result in actually lower FPS, even though the response of this is higher. So depending on what kind of CPU you have, you may or may not want it to be at the most extreme levels. In my gaming test, I'm going to have to adjust those. I'm going to put it on typing mode for right now. When we go to the gaming test, I'm going to switch it to gaming, but we're going to do this and then do a typing test. Putting that on there, then you can adjust your keyboard functions for all that stuff. But let's go ahead and switch to lighting. So it's got quick effects for doing all sorts of stuff. So you can change the color, and it's got breathing, audio meter, ripple, static. I prefer just static. That's a personal preference. So it allows you to do whatever you want. And then you got your slider for how bright you want this to be. And then we got advanced effects. So let's go ahead and go to Chroma Studio. So this is Chroma Studio. I am not an expert at adjusting lighting effects and stuff like that. So we're gonna adjust some RGB lighting on it. Let's see if this, okay, good. Holding down Control allows you to select more than one at once. And I'm gonna make WASD red. I'm gonna make the arrow keys red, save. I'm going to go ahead and make all these into my purple color. I'll see in a second. I'm going to get this all set up. Okay, so this is the colors as they are set up on the software. But how does it look on the keyboard itself? Ta-da! So this is how the lighting effects look on the keyboard. I'm going to say they are adequate, but not very bright. So for perspective, I'm going to get them close to right next to each other. There we go. So I don't know if it's the black keys or what, but the light just doesn't seem very bright, but they appear to be more or less equivalent in terms of the color reproduction. So there's the purple, there's a purple, the red is like pure red. So you can see that it seems a little less bright, and this is at 100% brightness. But there also appears to be less bleed around the edges compared to the drop shift, which is my current keyboard that I'm using for gaming. So I think the colors look okay, but they just don't seem as bright as other keyboards I've looked at recently. So you need to decide that for yourself if you think it looks okay or not. I think it's fine, but certainly not as stellar. Did I mention this when I was looking at the keyboard earlier? It's got the secondary functions printed on it. So when you push the FN key, you know which ones. So pushing on the FN key, you know that you got the secondary functions lit up. They just automatically light up for which ones are those. Let's move on, I guess, to the next section. Typing test. Okay, here we are in the typing test. You can kind of see how many keyboards I've done because there aren't that many results on here. So I'm going to have the microphone point at the keyboard so you can hear what it sounds like. The camera is pointed at a weird angle, kind of halfway blocking my vision of the screen for doing the typing test. I'm a little bit dyslexic, so it's a little bit hard, and I'm not the world's fastest typer, but I also don't need to look at the keyboard to type. So we'll just go ahead and see how things go. That does a delay. Oops. All right, 49 words per minute, so kind of closer to my average. Oh, that's kind of funny. So, what do I think about these results? Well, it kind of indicates to me I really couldn't feel when I was typing or not. Like, I basically just fully depressed the keys. So the clicky one that I used recently, which was the Entra, which is actually my other result there. So right there was the Entra. So woohoo! It was my best, and back down to 49-ish. I got a definite feel for when I knew I hit each key. This one, I couldn't feel it, but it was completely silent. So I don't know what to take about that other than maybe I'm using the wrong keyboards. I don't know what else to say. Let's jump to the gaming test. Alright, I know you can't see it because it's pretty small, but I have it set to gaming mode, and right now I'm going to start at a polling rate of 1000, and we're going to basically adjust this slider while we're in game. Right, we are in game. My game of choice here is Black Mesa. I did not readjust the software, so you're going to see the keyboard lighting up. We're at 1000 polling rate. Feels nice and responsive. Everything feels very instantaneous. There's certainly nothing that I can notice. The sound is nice and quiet. It will not change my skills at gaming. Let's go ahead and switch the polling rate. Okay, we're in the software. See, the polling rate is now 125. Let's see how we do. Does it feel more sluggish? I really don't know. I'm going to switch back. Let's go back to 1000. I think this feels smoother. It could be a very well placebo effect. So kind of like this typing for debounce thing. So we're going to switch to 8000. I don't see a save mode, so that should be. And I don't know, I don't see any meaningful difference. I have an 8-core CPU, so I don't think I'll notice any difference in CPU utilization. Let's go to Task Manager real quick. Performance, CPU. So we are using 4% right now. If I switch that to that, I don't know. Are we going to even see a difference? 4%. Yeah. There's going to be no meaningful difference in CPU utilization. The screen is loading. I do hear a little bit of a rattle coming from the keyboard. It's not bad, but depending on who you are, you may find that annoying, but I certainly do not. Whoops, blast pit. Oh. Running around. Running around. What am I supposed to do again? I'm guessing we need to go this way. Bung, 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 bung. Yeah, this is more of a mouse test. So keyboard does matter in your gaming setup, but a good mouse, especially for shooters, is much more important. If you play like MMOs, I guess, well, then it doesn't really matter. It depends more if you are using the keyboard for doing lots of different things. Typing, gaming, kind of everything. But the keyboard is, oh my gosh, something that you can actually like sacrifice a little bit. Compared to like a mouse, in my opinion. I'm sure that other people have different opinions, but the keys feel kind of mushy. What switches are in this again? Yep, that makes a lot of sense because they're linear optical switches. Optical doesn't matter; it just means that there's a laser beam that does the adjustability. But the fact that they are linear is why it's not that great a typing experience. But it's certainly fine. I wouldn't say it's good for typists. Wow! I I have not played this game in too long. I forgot stuff sometimes jumps out at you. Let's see. Let's go over what ratings thought of it. A professional review site as opposed to just me, a normal user. So the Huntsman 10 keyless V2 had a gaming score of 9.3, had a office score of 8.2, and programming score of 8.1 on ratings, RTINGs. The build quality is rated at 8.5. The backlight quality is rated at 9.9, which I have to agree, it looks good, even though I think it could be a little bit brighter. And I think a lot of that has to do with the black keycaps, which are standard. I mean, there's not much to complain about if you'd want an all black look versus like gray or white keycaps, which are going to make it look brighter. Typing quality, 8.5, so kind of fine. Latency is a perfect score of 10 at 0.5 milliseconds. So I'm not sure. So they would have had to use a specific set of settings, and it probably was this 8,000 polling rate in the gaming mode. And boom, this is the fastest keyboard for gaming in the world at kind of an acceptable price tag. With an acceptable price tag of like $160. So not terribly expensive, but certainly a significant portion of a budget. Would I recommend it? Well, if you're doing anything other than gaming, I would say not really. It depends on your proportion of what you're doing. So are you 99% gaming and 1%, 10% typing up stuff? You could get by, but if you're doing, I would say even 25% like schoolwork, homework, typing reports, typing anything, then I would have to say no, get something else. That is my opinion, and well, I guess that's the end of this review. Thank you very much for watching Computer Tech and More. I have other keyboard review videos on my channel, as well as others upcoming. Please subscribe for more content. Check out my Patreon page. It's viewers like you that make this channel possible. And have a great day. I'll see you next time.